Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. However it is that you are celebrating today, I hope that you are feeling and experiencing lots and lots of love. Remember that love is within you. It is all around you, not just today, but every day. So keep tuning into that energy and keep carrying that forward and sending lots and lots of love. All right, we're going to start today's reading a little bit unorthodox, in an unorthodox way. I'm going to read a poem that caught my attention. So I've been watching The Newsroom for like the 50th time. It's a show by Aaron Sorkin, who was also the writer and the creator of The West Wing. And I've watched that show a million times too. And there's a lot of just beautiful, like, it's intelligent, it's funny, it's, got a lot of heart and humanity in both shows. So I don't know why I was called to watch it again, but I was, and it's just really speaking to me right now. The Newsroom last aired like 10 years ago, but I'm catching up on it, and there's a poem that actually is cross-referenced in both shows, meaning the writer, Aaron Sorkin, the creator, uses this poem in both shows. So once he uses it from Donna to Josh, and once he uses it from Mackenzie to Jim, but in both instances, what the person is saying is, don't waste time. Don't waste your time. Don't hold back yourself. And this is a greater message. It can apply to sacred partnerships, but this is a greater message that I'm being asked to bring forth. Because especially when it comes to sacred partnerships, it feels like the time is now. We've been channeling that this reunion window is open for a purpose. And I'm going to link to the other reading where all that information is, so you guys can check it out or revisit it. But that's what we've been channeling, that these reunion windows are open now for either you to meet sacred partners or for you to connect with sacred partners after going through this ascension journey, after healing, after growing and expanding into the energy of more love. We're anchoring more love onto this planet, and that's the purpose of these sacred partnerships. It's the energy of love. It's coming together in the energy of love. You're writing a new template. You're creating a new paradigm within your connection with each other, and that has a ripple effect on the world, on all of humanity, on this planet Earth. It is a new energy of unconditional love that hasn't been seen for millennia. For centuries, for millennia. It is an energy that is, I'm hearing, returning to this planet. And the time is now. And so you can take this as it resonates for your own inner union, your own masculine and feminine energy. And we've talked about that as well. This is a journey of your own individual self-discovery and self-love as much as it is your connection with your partner. Your connection with your partner is your sacred mirror. They're showing you yourself in the energy of love. So your connection is important, but it's also your connection with yourself. It's not one or the other. It's one that creates the whole. It's, through your journey of self-love, you're able to understand, connect with, empathize, hold compassion for, hold space for your sacred other. So the more that you know yourself, the more you're able to love each other, and the more you're able to ripple that out, and it affects the whole world. The more you're able to understand, hold compassion and space for the world as a whole, because your beliefs shift, because your perceptions change, because your mindsets shift, because you're transforming within yourself, the world as a whole outside of yourself transforms. And the more you create that Trinity energy, it's the energy within you, the divine masculine within you, the divine feminine within you, and God's source, always as one, always aligned. I'm just seeing like a column of light, a pillar of light. And if you're in these sacred partnerships, if you're in connection or relationship with somebody, those are sacred connections. So it's you and your partner creating the third energy of relationship, or the third energy of family, or the third energy of home and relationship, always with God's source as the energy that runs through you, as the love energy that runs through you, that permeates all of this. But especially in our physical human experience, which we are human beings having a physical human experience, we cannot forget that or deny that, no matter how spiritual we become. We are understanding our spiritual nature. We are understanding our sacredness, but in the energy of love, in the energy of unconditional love. We're understanding this as human form. We don't forget the human form. that's what it means to bring heaven to earth. We're anchoring this into physical matter, to physical form. And so you and your relationship, you and your partner, you and your connection, and it's going to relate to everybody in a little bit of a different way, who that is, who your significant other is. But when you're in connection with another, it's about the love and what's created within that love. And relationships can be difficult because they're the most intimate connections. But they also show you yourself. And you can either go against each other, and that causes a lot of discord and a lot of disharmony and a lot of disconnect. Or you can use the energy of love to come towards each other for repair, for connection, for harmony, for more love and more growth and more expansion. But both parties have to be on the same page there for that to happen. And that's where, especially in these sacred connections, you experience sometimes that journey of individualization. You can call it separation, but it's a journey of the individual self. So the more that you know yourself, the more you can connect with and understand and know your sacred partner in the energy of love, because the journey of individualization is a homecoming to yourself. It's a homecoming to love. It's an understanding of love within yourself and anchoring that in, and your connection with God. We never forget that connection to God is part of this equation. But that's where you converge. That's where you come together. So going back to this poem, kind of went off on a tangent there, which is normal for me. But coming back to this poem. So this poem is cross-referenced in both shows. And so when I heard this, I perked up. And it's amazing to me because art is received based on where we are in our experience. So the beauty of art, whether it's paintings or music or books, is no matter how many times you return to the music or the song or the painting or the book, no matter how many times you return to it, you might receive a different message from it. Even readings like this, as you go through your ascension journey and you look back at an old reading, you might understand something in a new light or see something in a new light. So that's the beauty of art, is it's transformative. The role of the artist is to share the message as it is. For example, in writing, in books, the role of the writer is to write the best story that you can, the one that's written in your heart. But when it's published and when it's put out into the world, and I share that from my own experience, you don't have control on the message and how it's received. The only control that you have is sharing your heart and sharing your journey and sharing your soul and sharing your story. The same with any piece of art, the same with any service or any offering. The only thing that you are in control of is what it is that you're creating. But your creations then, how they're received, that's up to each individual. And that's a beautiful thing because each individual will perceive it or receive it based on where they are in their journey. And the same thing with art. So I'm saying that because these poems, especially poetry, is, poetry really speaks to the soul. And with poetry, it's like, I say this as a lit major, I'm going to share a really quick story. As a lit major, we were asked to analyze poetry and books and novels and stuff in our courses. And it was beautiful because every group that we in our classes, we went into groups and we would discuss. And everybody had a little bit of a different analogy. I had one professor that was like, no, you're wrong. And my classmates and I, who were in our group, just looked at each other. And it's like, how can something be wrong when it's just an interpretation? Everything is interpreted based on your experience or based on your perception or based on where you are. But my professor had a really narrow perspective of what it was that he wanted to discuss or what it was that he was viewing. And it was really like a learning experience for me. And that's where I really began to see the beauty of art, that everything is up to interpretation. And it's just about where you are. There is no right and wrong. There is no right or wrong. It's just, there's that middle way. It's just how you're experiencing it. It's just how you're interpreting it. And the more that we understand that collectively, the more we're able to hold that space for each other and have that unconditional love and compassion and learn from each other. And I think that's really beautiful. So speaking of this poem, scholars have interpreted it in one way, and when I heard this poem, I'm like, oh my gosh, that resonates for a different reason. So I'm going to read this poem, and I'm going to share my interpretation for the purpose of what we're channeling here today. So it's a poem by Robert Herrick that was written in the 16th century. It says, "Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Old time is still a-flying, and this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. The glorious lamp of heaven, the sun, the higher he's a-getting, the sooner will his race be run, and nearer he's to setting. That age is best which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer, but being spent the worse and worst, times still succeed the former. Then be not coy, but use your time, and while ye may go merry, for having lost but once your prime, ye may forever tarry." So scholars have one way of interpreting that, and sometimes of a very literal sense. But I perked up when I heard this because it really struck true to the heart of the time is now, and that's the message that we've been getting collectively. And I'm talking higher ascension journey. I'm not talking specific relationship and things like that. I'm talking the higher ascension journey. The time is now for love. The time is now for understanding what it means to build the bridge, what it means to come together, what it means to have these sacred partnerships, what it means to have these connections, and connections with ourselves, connections with our partners, and that ripples out to connections within everybody. This is that unity consciousness. The time is now. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Don't hold yourself back. Don't procrastinate. It's time to be bold. It's time to be brave. It's time to take action. It's almost like this is the tipping point. This is the turning point that we have reached on our evolutionary scale. And it's time to allow ourselves to move forward and to embrace that moving forward. It's not so much time from a calendar perspective, from an earth perspective. It's time as in it's energetic time. And again, we've been channeling the reunion windows opening. It's because it is time, and these sacred partners play a pivotal part for all the reasons we previously discussed. But these sacred partners play a pivotal part because sacred partners really show what it means to be the bridge. Sacred partners are two sides of one coin. And that's where a lot of that 3D miscommunication and misunderstanding comes from. It's hard to bridge that because you're approaching your ascension journeys from two different angles or two different perspectives. But if you were to understand the root and the love that exists and has always existed between you, you would be able to come together. Now, that's not to say, engage in unhealthy behavior or toxic behavior. That's not, there's a separation right now that we're talking about the 3D and the energetic levels. You also have to be accepting of what's happening in the 3D. In the 3D, in the physical form. So in the physical form, if it feels toxic, if it feels unhealthy, if it feels in any way draining or negative, or like it's not in alignment with who you are, you do not have to engage. You do not have to be a part of that. Again, that's where you might be on your individual journeys. For some, you might actually be transcending out of the connection that was a catalyst for you and moving into new, healthier connections, or moving into different energies and timelines. For some, you are going on your individual journey of growth together before you are converging, again, both of you having transformed and meeting up into a new level of your connection, a new phase of your connection. Everybody's going to be a little bit different as far as what that looks in your physical world, what your journey looks in your physical world. So don't try to pigeonhole yourself into one thing or the other. Just keep allowing the journey to unfold. When I look back at where I was at the start of my journey, it's completely different. I'm in a completely different energy than I am now. And that's because I allowed myself to learn and grow in ways that were beyond my expectations. Had no idea when I first started this journey and these channelings what it was all about. I didn't even expect or want to be doing these channelings. I always say that. But it's true. I didn't expect any of this, but it just became a natural course. And through these journeys, through these channelings, through these teachings, I've learned and grown myself into just a completely new energy, and my understandings have taken on just new perspectives. So it's a allow your journey to unfold and allow it to take you where it needs to take you, rather than trying to force it into one thing or the other, especially when it comes to your physical connection. But speaking of the broader energetic connection, it's time now for again, it just feels like we've reached the energetic tipping point of the global collective, where divine counterparts, sacred partners, are coming in and reuniting and meeting, because it is time for that love. And you've been on your journey of growth. You've been on your journey of doing your healing and doing the deep dives and doing the shadow work and shifting. You've been doing all of this work in order to shift into a higher frequency. And so with that higher frequency being anchored in, again, I'm seeing that pillar of light, with the higher frequency being anchored into the planet, what you're doing now is you are having an energetic resonance for the rest of the planet. So it's beautiful, and it's a fascinating energy that's coming forth. It's like, this is time, this is now. And I feel like we channeled this previously, but what I just keep seeing are these pillars of light that are merging, and it's all over the planet. These sacred partners coming together all over this planet, and it's like the light just expands from you, and it has a ripple effect, and it helps to awaken. It helps to, I don't like the word awaken, but I don't have another word for it. It helps to it helps the rest of the planet to remember. That's what your awakening is. Your awakening is a remembrance of who you are on the soul level and who you've always been. It's a remembrance. That's what your healing journey is as well. It's a remembrance. And so it's like this expanded light energy is having an effect on the entire planet, because that love just expands, that light just expands. And everybody who is in that light is affected. They're bringing me to The Lion King, and I can't remember the exact quote, but it's The Lion King, where Simba said, or when Mufasa says to Simba, everything the light touches. And that's what I'm feeling. It's like everything that the light touches has this resonance of love, because you're that pillar of light, because you've gone through your remembrance journey, because you've anchored that in, because you're now embodying that higher frequency of love. You've cleared out the lower density energies of ego and control and manipulation and fear, especially fear. And that's where a lot of those things stem from, that fear. You've cleared out so much of that. And that doesn't mean that you're not human, that you won't experience those things. Of course not. You're perfectly imperfect. You have flaws. You are human. We don't deny the human aspect of us. But you have done such an amazing job at raising your frequency. And I'm talking to both masculines and feminines. There is no division here. We talk about the divine masculines and we talk about the divine feminines to better understand where each person where each energy is in their journey. But you can take it as the divine masculine, the divine feminine within your own self. You can take it as the divine masculine and the divine feminine on this planet as a whole, or within your connection, to better understand where and hold compassion and hold space for each other in connection. But it's the macro and the micro. The connection is a reflection of what's happening on this planet between the masculine and the feminine as a whole. Where there was such a divide between the polarities, now it's being bridged into that oneness. That's what you are as sacred couples. You are that merged energy. You are that oneness. You are that sacredness. You are that union energy. And the more that you come together in that union energy, the more it has a ripple effect. So it's like that pillar of light just expands, and everything that the light touches is affected by that power of that love, because the love that exists between you is magnified. It's the love, your journey of individualization. It's the love that you learn and see and remember within yourself, that you then bring to your partnership, where you grow and expand even more together, tenfold together, and embody that love tenfold together in your sacred partnership. And that has a ripple effect on the planet as a whole. Everything is connected. Everything is connected, and it is time to not hold ourselves back from that love, to not hold ourselves back from our own sacredness, to not hold ourselves back from our purpose for why we're here, which is to keep raising our frequency and sharing the light and the love of who we are. And again, we're talking on a higher energetic level. What it looks like in your 3D experience is going to look different for everybody. How you express that love is going to look different for everybody. For some, it's about sharing that love within family. For some, it's about sharing that love within service work or your career, your mission. For some, it's going to be just who you are as a whole. You've met strangers on the street who are just filled with so much love and so much joy. It's just, they're effervescent. It's just how they embody themselves in everyday interactions. It is all love. It is all an expression of love. It is all an expression of the sacredness that we are welcoming back, remembering back into our lives as a whole, just expressed in many different ways in our human experience. Again, we don't deny the human aspect. We are bridging the spiritual and the human. That's where we have to be very grounded in our spirituality, because we are still in human form and having this human experience as part of the world as a whole. But we're allowing that spirituality, we're allowing that connection to God's source, to the universe, to all, that unity consciousness to be embodied and to just ripple out, to expand out of us, to be shared, to be experienced. So gather ye rosebuds. It's time. It's time for more love, more light within the world. And love and light does not mean that you don't experience obstacles, that you don't experience challenges. It means that you have the tools and the resources to overcome them. You have that self-awareness to overcome the fear, to overcome the lower density energy. Doesn't mean that you won't experience very real experiences in your physical 3D life. This could be illness. This could be accidents. This could be relocations. This could be financial struggles. Doesn't mean that you don't experience those things. But you have the tools and you have the resources that you don't sink into fear whenever you have those experiences. You have that awareness, that higher awareness, that you are connected, that there is purpose, that there is connection, that there are lessons, that there is opportunity for growth from those experiences. It's time. There is a new level of remembrance that is coming into this planet. And this really feels like the tipping point. This really feels like the turning point. This is what we were in preparation for. So, gather ye rosebuds. Don't hold yourself back. Don't hold yourself back. It's almost like it's in full bloom. You're in full bloom. Don't hold yourself back from yourself. Don't hold yourself back from love. Let's see what's going on between the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. Again, take it as it resonates for you. Let's see what we need to know. I'm going to use the Journey of Love deck, and I have the book out just in case. So let's see what's going on for the Divine Masculine. Where's the Divine Masculine presently? Where's the Divine Masculine energy presently? Just want one card, please. Okay, we're getting two. The Ancient Ones. Oh, Man of the Earth, Woman of the Sky. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And Divine Feminine. The Communal Dance and Fire and Ice. Both of you having this like bridge of polarity being experienced between you. I want to get a union energy too. Tell me about the union energy, please. I really feel like you're both bridging the polarities here. This is amazing. All right. Tell me more about the union energy, please. Union energy. We're not going to get a union card. Let's get a union card. Nope, that's too many. Let's get a union card, please. right. Well, we're going to hold off on the union card. All right. Let's talk about the divine masculine first. This is amazing. Again, take it as the divine masculine within you. Take it as the divine masculine collective. Take it for your divine masculine counterpart, because that can help you hold space if you're a divine feminine. Divine masculine, same thing for you. You know, if you're watching for the divine feminine, it helps you to empathize and hold space for your divine feminine for what she's experiencing. So always compassion, always love, and always respect. The Ancient One and Man of the Earth, Woman of the Sky. I just want to point out Fire and Ice, Man of the Earth, and Woman of the Sky. They're bringing me to this bridging of the polarities, and that's exactly what you're doing with your union. That's exactly what you're doing along this journey. You are learning how to bridge those polarities. Where it feels like you're separate, you're not actually separate. That's what you're understanding along this ascension journey with your connection with your counterpart. That's why you show each other the mirror. You see that you are one and the same. And so Fire and Ice is a really interesting energy, because what I'm getting is this energy of it's like temperature. It's like hot and cold. There is no hot, there is no cold. When you think about it, it's all one energy. It's all one temperature. It's just different variations of temperature. So it's like that kind of feeling here. I'm Man of the Earth, Woman of the Sky. You're still one. You're still one. The Man of the Earth is that masculine energy that is very grounded to the physical form. And we need that. That's where we're bringing heaven to earth. Anchoring that in. We need that physical presence, that masculine presence. The Woman of the Sky is that feminine energy in the spiritual realms, but she's anchoring that in with the help of the divine masculine. And it's not one or the other. It is the Mother, Father, God source energy. It's not one or the other. It's not divided. It's not superiority over one. It is oneness. Oneness. There is no separation. There is no separation. It is that oneness between you two. That's where you hold that space for each other. That's where you come together in that sacred union. I feel like the masculine is experiencing their inner union. I feel like they are stabilizing within their physical world, within themselves. And I feel like they are tapping into the divine feminine energy. Not in a distorted way where they're taking from the divine feminine energy, but in a real honoring way where they're understanding what is divine feminine energy, what is sacred energy. And they're really learning how to honor that within themselves and within the connection. With the Ancient Ones, they're really tapping into their inner wisdom as well. And I feel like this is a lot of ancestral energy where they're receiving that ancestral support and tapping into their gifts when it comes to opening up to receiving, how do I put this? The feminine energy is very naturally intuitive. I feel like the masculine here is tapping into that energy within themselves. That's the feminine energy within themselves in a healthy way. And I feel like they're tapping into the support of and the wisdom of their ancestors, not the egoic wisdom and not spiritual ego, but really tapping into the heart space in a real loving, nurturing, and grounded way. This is not ego of, I know more than you. This is ego of, I have a piece of the puzzle. Let's share this. Let's understand this. And I'm also getting this energy of they're beginning to really understand themselves in this light, to understand that they have gifts, that they are open spiritually, especially if this person, this energy was unawakened before or not conscious of their spiritual pursuits before. Or if I'm also getting this energy of somebody who was very religiously oriented, whatever the religion was, it feels like it was very religiously oriented, almost like it put them in a box. And it feels like they're expanding out of that and learning to tap into ancient wisdom. And when I say ancient wisdom, this really feels like ancestral. This really feels like lineage, not just esoteric knowledge, but tuning into their own energy center, tuning into their own intuition. And again, it feels very like union energy. It feels very balanced and very anchored in, where they are being that present, stable energy for themselves, anchored into the physical world, having direction, having purpose, and seeing that direction and seeing that purpose and taking action towards that, really beginning to create for their lives in a higher state, not based on expectations or not based on an old perspective or a version of themselves or where they thought they needed to go because maybe other people expected them to go, or maybe they even expected this is the path for me, but really opening up to creating more along the lines of where their heart is guiding them, learning to trust their heart, learning to trust their intuition, and that's their feminine energy. They're learning to trust the feminine energy. I'm also hearing discernment. They're learning to discern between distortion and, for lack of a better word, conscious or divine, the sacred. They're learning to discern between, especially when it comes to people in their lives, people who might still be operating in lower vibrational energy, and people who are operating from the authentic soul self. And I feel like the more that they connect with themselves and their own intuition and their own inner authority, the more they're able to have that inner understanding. And that is not to judge anybody for where they are. That is not to judge other people for where they are in their path or where they are in their journey. I feel like this masculine energy is really just using their discernment to learn how to trust in themselves and trust in God is what I'm hearing. Trust in God, trust in source. But being able to discern between, okay, what is true and what is untrue? What is resonant and what is not resonant? What is intuitive and what is kind of like false information? Learning to really anchor in and trust in the self. And again, being that grounding force for both energies. The masculine is a container. He holds space, the physical presence, in a place of safety and security for the divine feminine. If you're looking at this in the context of a relationship, and we'll just use, for example, a male and a female, but you can take it as a masculine and a feminine energy. But for the context here, the male in a relationship is that physical presence. They provide that safety and that security and that presence for the divine feminine. They hold space for the feminine, especially as she is, how do I say this? Especially as she is very expressive. She is very in her emotions, very feeling. She is an energetic conduit is what I'm getting. She's an energetic conduit. The masculine holds space for that and allows the feminine to open up because of his feelings of safety and presence and security. He provides that feeling of safety and presence so that the feminine can open up in the fullness of her energy. You might have experienced this in connection or seen this in connection in examples in your life where if a feminine is very closed down, or she's shut down, it's because she's not feeling safe in the context of the connection or the context of a relationship. This could be with friends, this could be with coworkers, there's a very unbalanced energy there. And she's not able to open up or express herself in her fullness because the energy that's being held here, it's not a safe space, it's not holding space, it's not present, it's not a conscious energy. It's when the polarities are bridged. It's when there's a balance there. It's when both energies are able to open up to each other. And that's what a sacred connection is. It's where both energies are able to open up to each other. The masculine presence is like this beautiful energy of like a warrior. It's this beautiful energy of safety and presence and security and taking care of the feminine, honoring the feminine. And not honoring as in, bowing down in reverence. No, you are standing side by side as king and queen. Standing side by side, honoring each other, loving each other in that sacred connection. Holding space for each other. It's a really beautiful energy that's coming through from the divine masculine. This is a really conscious masculine. We're going to get a little bit more, but let's go to the divine feminine first here. I feel like, remember we were just saying how the divine feminine really opens up, and the more she feels into her embodiment, her sacredness, the more safe she feels, even within her own divine masculine energy. I'm getting a lot of root chakra here, so really grounding into her own inner masculine energy. the more she feels that sense of freedom, the more she feels that sense of expression, and the more she invites in that freedom around her. So with the communal dance here, that fire and ice, this fire and ice feels like what we were saying for the divine masculine, where it feels like this balancing of the polarities. And the communal dance is like this oneness, this openness, this expression. Feminine energy flows, feminine energy moves. Feminine energy needs this, where masculine energy is a structured energy, feminine energy needs to flow and move. And that's what this really feels like. It feels like that flow of life, that flow of energetic life, and this coming together. From the higher perspective, or talking about like coming together, like collectively coming together. This could be like soul tribe as well, coming together, but coming together collectively. It's like she's inviting in the collective to open. For so long on this planet, there has been a battle between masculine and feminine energy. And it's been shown between, especially male and female, especially in this patriarchy. But the pendulum, we channeled this a very long time ago, the pendulum has broken free, the pendulum has broken loose. And it's been reaching this point of neutrality, the 0 point, the balance. The thing is, the masculine and feminine energy exists within all of us. And to deny any aspect of ourselves is to suppress a beautiful aspect of ourselves. Sacred partners, through your healing journey, you remember the balance. You remember the oneness that exists within you and that exists within all of nature, all of the universe. The Mother and the Father God don't fight for superiority. They don't fight for control. Each play their part, each play their role. In beautiful, loving energy. It's that energy of oneness. The energies become merged, entwined. It's like what I'm seeing is like DNA. 2 strands of DNA just entwined. If you have just one strand of DNA, then it's like nothing. But you have both strands of DNA working in unison, and you have life. That's what the masculine and the feminine are. But it had become polarized. It had become weaponized. This is what you're learning. This is what you're expanding, you're understanding. This is what we are remembering. We're moving out of that polarized energy. So let's, Jesus. I never know what we're going to channel here, but this is like surprisingly beautiful and amazing. Let's see what's going on for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Bring it down a little bit to the connection. So what's the divine masculine experiencing right now? What's going on with the divine masculine? You have the 7 of Swords. What's going on for the divine masculine? The 7 of Swords is usually an energy of deceptive behavior, self-sabotaging, sneaky behavior. It definitely doesn't feel in alignment with what we're channeling up here, but they might be behaving in certain ways or experiencing certain things. But I feel like they're coming out of that. I feel like they're, with the 2 of Pentacles here, I feel like this is an old version of themselves that they're leaving behind, and I feel like that they're consciously wanting to leave behind. Because they're feeling this balance within themselves, or wanting to feel this balance within themselves. What's going on with the divine masculine right now? What's going on with the divine masculine right now? The Devil. Yeah, I feel like there's some toxic energy that is clearing. This could be ego. This could be outside influences as well, is what I'm getting, that they're walking away from. That might have been pulling them into old versions of themselves. But I feel like the 2 of Pentacles here. 2 of Pentacles can be an energy of juggling, but I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling an energy of balance. You see how she's poised? She's like this dancer and she's poised. There's this energy of honor coming through. I feel like the divine masculine is beginning to act in a way that's honoring of themselves. Beginning to act in a way that is with integrity and with dignity that they've always felt within, but maybe they were pulled into different directions or different behaviors. Again, maybe this was outside influences or other connections or relationships that they were a part of. Or maybe this was even just an old energy within themselves, but it does feel like they're moving out of that energy. Tell me, yeah, I'm seeing Temperance, I'm seeing Six of Wands, I'm seeing Knight of Wands. So it does feel like this energy is healing, this energy. They're growing out of this energy. I'm going to get a little bit more for the Divine Masculine before we talk about the Divine Feminine. Four of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, yeah. And I'm getting like that strength energy and the Ten of Pentacles, yeah. So the Four of Pentacles is this holding back, keeping everything secret, keeping everything close to the chest. There's this opening that's happening that I'm feeling here. And with the Six of Wands, it feels like an overcoming. It feels like a victory, like they're having victory within themselves. They're seeing themselves, or they're seeing situations, or they're seeing their life in a new way. And with the Ten of Pentacles here, it's like building a new foundation, wanting to build a new foundation with a sturdier foundation. I'm hearing different landscape. So what I'm getting from that is it's like they might have lived their life a certain way up to one point, but now it's like they want to see things differently or be differently or act differently or experience something differently. They want to experience their life through a new lens, within a different landscape. And from that energy, they want to create something different for themselves. They're seeing how they were just holding themselves back, but now they're recognizing, gather ye rosebuds, it's time for me to make a change. It's time for me to kind of take the bull by the horns. Is that the phrase? Take the horn, but take the bull by the horns. Yeah, I think that's right. Take the bull by the horns and take charge. And not take charge as in, again, control or ego. That's all the distorted lens. But take charge as in for themselves, for their life, to plant those seeds for themselves. Maybe this is them getting a new job that's more in alignment with themselves, or they're more alignment with their passions or their purpose or their dreams. Maybe this is taking charge as in going back to school. It's taking steps. That's what they're doing. They're taking steps for the betterment of their lives, for things that are more aligned to their heart rather than expectation or obligation or who they needed to be or thought that they needed to be or thought that they needed to do. This is a sense of dignity. This is a sense of integrity. This is a sense of morality. This is a sense of really knowing oneself and connecting within the heart space. This is a sense of overcoming here. Okay, I'm going to get more for the feminines with a different deck. Let's use this one. What's going on for the divine feminines? What's going on for the divine feminines? The Divine Feminines, Queen of Pentacles, Five of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. Divine Feminines, you're mirroring each other. You really are mirroring each other. Even though it might not look anything like that, there's an energetic here of sameness. Is the word that I'm getting, sameness. So Queen of Pentacles, I feel like Divine Feminines, you're in a very balanced, grounded state within yourself as well. I feel like you're really nurturing yourself, you're really loving yourself, and you're really embodying this sacred feminine energy. I feel like you've really leveled up within yourself and even within your own life. With the Five of Swords, I feel like you might be going back and forth a little bit with some battle of the mind and the heart. And what I'm getting from this is what we've been channeling for a while now, where it's like you might be battling not just between ego and heart. It doesn't feel like ego or mind and heart. It feels like the mind as far as the 3D, looking at the 3D, and it kind of pulls you into a different energy, not a lower energy, but into a... I'm getting tailspin, so it might even pull you into like a tailspin. It takes you away from your heart, where your heart is like the core of you. Your heart is where like your intuition is, and your intuition is the core of you. You've learned how to really trust this along your path. You've learned how to really trust and honor your intuition and not let that lead you astray. But sometimes there are things in the 3D that can kind of shake you up. I feel like you might be going through like an overcoming yourself of, it doesn't quite, I don't like the word test, because I don't feel like the universe tests us. It almost feels like a challenge. You might feel challenged sometimes. Our experience is going to pull you back into where you used to be, or are you going to maintain that awareness? Are you going to operate from that new level of awareness, that new energy that you're in, and trust your intuition? That's what I feel like with the Ten of Wands. It's like you're setting down those burdens. You're ending a cycle where you might have been a little bit of battle with your mind and your heart. If somebody tries to take you off your path, if somebody tries to question you or doubt you, if you doubt yourself based on external experiences or external factors, it's you really learning how to trust yourself, and that's where you're feeling stable, and that's where you're ending the cycle. You're ending the cycle of doubt within yourself because you're tuning in so fully and anchoring in so fully to yourself. Yeah, it's like you know the direction that you're headed, and that's where you are trusting in yourself and feeling stable and grounded within yourself. So I feel like both masculine and feminine are really mirroring each other in this energy of overcoming aspects of themselves and kind of setting the stage for something new here. And this is where you and your counterpart are always going to be operating energetically at the same level. It might not look it in the physical 3D, but that's where ego takes over, right? Don't look at it from the 3D. Look at it from the shared energy, because you are a shared energy with your counterpart. And again, take it as your own inner masculine feminine energy, take it as the masculine and feminine globally, or take it with your counterpart as well, so that you can understand where each other are. Eight of Swords, yeah. That's like the Four of Pentacles here. It's like sometimes you get yourself caught up, you get yourself trapped, because it's almost like you dishonor yourself. And I feel like that's where you have been in the past, where you abandoned yourself, or you betrayed yourself for XYZ reason. And I feel like you're in this energy of not doing that anymore. This energy feels very fierce. I like that it's the Queen of Pentacles, and I like that she's wearing green because that's the open heart chakra, but it feels very like Queen of Swords, even Queen of Wands energy. Like she's taking action, she's cutting out the bullshit, she's not listening to the bullshit, she's not listening to the ego, she's not listening to outside influences or resources. Now, when I say resources, I mean she's trusting herself. She can receive information, she can receive insight from trusted resources, but she's trusting herself. She has her own intuition. She's very grounded and stable within herself. What's going on for the Divine Feminine? King of Pentacles, yeah. She's very stable within herself. She feels that this is her own inner union. She has really reached her own inner union, which is a beautiful energy of balance, where she's feeling safe within herself, she's feeling secure within herself, and balanced within herself. She knows that she can rely on herself. That's where she's putting down those heavy burdens as well. All right, one more card for the Divine Feminine. Anything else we need to know for the Divine Feminine? The Star, wish fulfillment, happiness, hope. She's creating. And you have the Ten of Pentacles to end for the masculine and the Star to end for the feminine. And this is exactly what we're talking about. The masculine energy grounds us in the physical. Ten of Pentacles is very grounded, physical, tangible energy. It's you are creating, manifesting, and building your home, your family, your relationship, your finances, your career. It's like the Ten of Cups is like wish fulfillment, everything you could ever desire. Ten of Pentacles is making it happen in the physical. The Star is the energy of manifestation, wish fulfillment, not wish fulfillment, wishes, dreams, desires, hope. And so she holds that energetic space. And the divine masculine energy is what grounds that in the physical and makes it happen. This is where you work together. This is where you work together. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I haven't used these cards for a while. Where are we on time? Okay, we'll wrap it up here. What do you have to say to each other? What do you have to say to each other? What does the masculine want to say or want the feminine to know? What does the masculine want the feminine to know? Let's do that. Romance, Cupid's arrow strikes. And romance, we always say, is an expression of love. It's how you're expressing your emotions. It's how you're expressing your affection. It's how you're expressing your connection. It's how you're expressing yourself and your love. So romance, and we also have don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only in being true to yourself that you can be true to others. The divine masculine is saying, divine feminine, trust yourself, honor yourself. Don't make decisions based on what you think others want or what others are doing. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. I feel like this is the divine masculine that is honoring the feminine's intuition and asking her to keep walking her path and keep honoring her path and keep trusting herself. Divine feminine, what do you want the masculine to know? Ooh. We have new beginning. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. I feel like this is the divine feminine that is, number one, we've been picking up on this, feeling this energy of new beginning and how that's going to resonate with everybody, and their physical connection is going to be different. Again, for some, you are moving into a new beginning with a divine counterpart that you have yet to meet. For others, you're moving into a new beginning with a counterpart that has transformed and grown along with you. Whether you've been in separation physically or not, but this is like an energetic transformation that you've been going through. Or for some, this is somebody that is moving into just a new connection as a whole. So, or a new beginning as a whole, or a new phase of your journey. So take it as it resonates for you. Everybody's scenario is going to look a little bit different. But energetically, this is new beginning energy. This is a new phase of your journey, a new phase of connection, new phase of love. When it comes to matters of the heart, there is no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. Divine Feminine's answering the Divine Masculine and saying, I trust you too. I trust you as long as you're in your integrity, as long as you're in your dignity, as long as you are connecting deeply to yourself and not in that ego. I am trusting you when it comes to connection, when it comes to making these next steps. This is where the Divine Feminine trusts the Masculine to be that safe space, to be that sacred center for her and for the connection. Especially when it comes to the physical experience that you have and that you share together. And between you two, we have healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. Wow, this was intense. I'm not surprised, but this was intense. Beautiful energy. Let me know how this is resonating for you. We'll be back with just more readings in general. I think I want to do an ascension relationship update to see more of what's happening on the higher level, as well as more sacred union energy updates and more soul path readings. We're moving into those as well. Make sure that you're checking out the collective readings that I cross-post on Instagram and TikTok, just for more general stuff that's out of this realm as well. I'm sending you all so much love, so much light. Have a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's Day, and we'll be back soon.